Welcome to the channel. I actually think that the whole situation in Ukraine is going to have a negative impact upon Everton. Obviously, Alisher Usmanov has been bankrolling the club to some extent, and not really in a very good way. They've spent £500 million on quite a lot of managers and quite a few players, and really you can say that they've misspent a lot of it. USM, which is Usmanov's company, actually sponsor Finch Farm, Everton's training ground. That's worth £6 million a year to them. Another company linked to Usmanov also sponsors the women's team, and they also, Usmanov companies paid £30 million to secure a first option for the naming rights of the new stadium. Now, the new stadium hasn't been built. Farhad Moshiri has stepped away from Usmanov's other companies, and Moshiri is still in place. But obviously Moshiri is a pretty shrewd businessman, but it's difficult to say whether his pockets are as deep as the pockets of Usmanov. Now, the stadium that Everton are building is going to cost hundreds and hundreds of millions of pounds. I've been to it actually. It doesn't exist, but I've been to that part of Liverpool, and it's really it's going to be a really amazing project if they can pull it off, and it'll be really amazing for that part of Liverpool. I think it's Bootle actually, and it's called the 10 Streets Development, and it's quite a lot of dilapidated buildings, and it's on the dock. It's on Bramley Moor Dock, and the question is, how are Everton going to fund that? And according to Moshiri, the stadium's going to go ahead. Everything's on track. He's committed to maybe having it done for 2025, something like that. Quite a lot of work has been done there, laying the foundations. But you have to say that before Moshiri went to Everton, they experienced quite a lot of financially challenging times, and they did come through it. And the £500 million that's been spent, obviously has been misspent, shall we say, is a little bit of a worry for me, because it looks like if they're going to build this stadium now, they're not going to have a Russian backer now. Maybe they can replace Usmanov with someone else, but maybe someone from the Middle East, whatever. But the new stadium will only be able to happen if they borrow the money, and I would argue that that's not a very good thing to do. There's many examples of teams, clubs building new stadiums using debt. Tottenham has 600 million quid in debt. Okay, they've got an amazing stadium, but I think it's a bit of a dangerous thing for football clubs to take such amounts of debt, and Everton will probably have to borrow £500 million. It's a huge amount of money. The rate of interest is going up slowly. Inflation's come back. The rate of interest could keep rising, and financing a new stadium could be very, 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 very costly. And you're gambling on the fact that TV revenues are going to keep on rising, and that you're going to be able to service the debt. And obviously it'd be better if a rich backer could pay for the stadium and you don't have any debt. But I would worry. Like Manchester United have got £500 million of debt, and that's bad enough. But they have got the actual revenues to service that debt. As bad as the debt is, they've got the revenues. But Burnley have got into quite a bit of debt since their leverage takeover, and Everton will probably have to go to the capital markets to borrow this money to build the stadium. And obviously you can say, oh, there's going to be naming rights, there's going to be sponsorship, it's going to be amazing for that part of Liverpool, but that still doesn't mean that you can service that debt. But I also don't believe that building a new stadium is the be-all and end-all for all clubs if you're using debt to do it. I believe that the infrastructure of a club should be funded, if possible, either by a rich owner or by the free cash flow of the enterprise itself. And in this scenario, building a massive stadium on the banks of the Mersey will be an amazing achievement. But if it's done with debt, be afraid, be very, very afraid, because you never know. Look at this season. Everton is flirting with relegation. They'll probably get out of it, but if they lose another 4 or 5 games, they're in the mire. Burnley have picked up some form. Newcastle have picked up on, like, Everton are going down the league, and if they keep losing and get relegated, and Usmanov isn't there, and this massive wage bill, and the amount of money that they owe, how can they build a new stadium? So timing is everything, and I would be very, very worried if I was an Everton fan. What do you think? Do you think it's all going to be fine? Please comment below. But I must say I'm a little bit sceptical now that Usmanov is no longer in the picture.